He watched the chemical cloud moves across more farm fields. Loud footsteps shook the ground. I don't know if Blue Babble was in that cloud, said Roxy, but it's heading straight toward Metro City. I have to stop it. Roxy flew fast toward the chemical cloud. It was now in Mr. Man's farm. Cornfield.
It was now in Mr. Man's cornfield.
Whack! She took a deep breath and then blew. Whoosh! A huge hand popped out of the cloud and smacked Roxy. Whack! She tumbled through the air. By the time she landed, the cloud was gone. An enormous baboon covered in glowing chemicals stood in the field. Stood in the field.
An enormous baboon covered in glowing chemicals stood in the field.
Stood in the field. The baboon was scratching himself. An enormous baboon covered in glowing chemicals stood in the field. The baboon was scratching himself. He looked angry. Oh boy, said Roxy. That's definitely Blue Baboon, but he's as tall as a building. The chemicals must have made him grow. Bark, Blue Baboon barked. The giant baboon scratched his side and then stamped toward Roxy. He opened his mouth. He opened his mouth wide. His fangs were huge and sharp. Uh-oh, Roxy cried. Blue Baboon sweat at Roxy, who quickly dodged away. Just
Blue Baboon swatted at Roxy, who quickly dodged the blow.
Dodged the blow. The baboon barked again. Then he scratched and stomped on Mr. Man's barn. Smash! The barn shattered into tiny pieces. Mr. Man ran out of his farm house. What happened to my... What happened to my... He looked up and saw Blue Baboon. Mr. Man ran back into his house and hid under his bed. Blue Baboon barked angry. He stamped toward his scratch. He stamped and he scratched. Roxy watched Blue Baboon scratch his shoulder. Then He turned around and stamped across the field. He was heading toward Metro City. Again, I can't let Blue Babu reach Metro City, Roxy thought. He'll destroy every building in the city. Roxy flew after the giant baboon. She wrapped her arms and foot around his foot. Glowing chemicals got all over her. Blue Babu jacked his foot. He shook Roxy off. Then he kicked her hard. Roxy fell through the air and crashed into a tractor. Oof! She stood up, still covered in the glowing chemicals. She scratched. Then she scratched some more. Grrr! Roxy's face turned red. Why am I so itchy? She stamped her foot and scratched some more. Roxy gritted her teeth. Ack! This is awful. I can't stop itching. I'm getting really, really angry. Dun 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 dun. 你看他那个大脚非常清楚，对吗？弟弟一起看啊。弟弟 answer the question. B B B B B B B. What are the chemicals? B B B B B B. C C C C C C. B B B B B B. 弟弟，你有看吗？